were very upset. They had to drive 10 miles out of the way to get to Central Square, but they replaced the bridge over the river in 1968 to the cost of $290,000. At that time, Nixon was elected president. There were riots, of course, in the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Was anybody there? Penn State beat Syracuse again, but hell, that happened every year, didn't it? Okay. Namath and the Jets did win Super Bowl III. That was an event. The landing on the moon, as I mentioned before, in July. Woodstock. That was billed as the Woodstock Music and Art Fair. It sounds like something you'd have at school. You know, like the academic festival. Let's come in and hear everybody. It was billed as 3 days of peace and fun, attended by 400,000. Sounds like open house. Was anybody there? Nobody? Bill? No? He doesn't remember.
Sure. Yeah, I remember. He's still not sure.
Back in 1969, in the corner of Salina and Jefferson Street, a store opened named Sibley, Lindsay, and Kerr, which then became Sibley's. It's now Kaufman's. It's no longer in downtown Syracuse, and now it's owned by the May store. So, I mean, things do change as we go along. There was the Addis Company downtown. Bus fares in Syracuse were only 30 cents. They'd gone up. You could buy a Sunday paper for a quarter. You could buy the daily paper for 7 cents. You mail a letter for, it went up to 10 cents about that time, okay? There was a restaurant at the top of the Holiday Inn overlooking the city of Syracuse. The restaurant is still there. It's now a Best Western hotel. It's all covered with stuff. It's right down by 81. You could open up a Christmas club at Syracuse Savings Bank where, and I'll quote, you can save 50 cents, $1, $2, $3, $5, or $10 a week and have plenty of Christmas shopping money next year. That was 1968, 1960, 1970. Hell, you can't afford to buy $100 a week in Christmas stuff now and have any money left, especially if you have kids, right? How it goes. Lee Alexander was sworn in for the first time as mayor. First time. Peace marches took place. There was a store called Fla's, which had an advertisement in 1971 that said, "Lovely Fla robes. Your choice of solid terry cloth dusters," whatever they are, okay? Solid or print cotton dusters, they were $6.99 and $7.99. When was the last time you were able to buy anything at a store for $6.99 or $7.99? There were some things that did happen, though. I can think of, they lowered the voting age to 18. If we started teaching in about 19 whatever, we were just over 18 at that time and could have voted. You know, at one time there were only 2 theaters in Shoppingtown. Now there must be 10, whatever. And there were even drive-in theaters in all the towns, even around us. Now you can barely find one. There's one over in between Oswego and Manhattan. One other thing happened in 1973, which is after we all started teaching, and that's the Schlitz Brewery announced they would open a brewery in Baldwinsville. That now has changed also. Now it's Budweiser. Okay? So much for the history lesson. There was a quote from Stephen Rogers in one of the magazines I borrowed. And if you do ever get a chance, I'm not promoting what they sell, but the Post-Standard and Herald, it's no longer the Post-Standard, is it? Oh well. They have books of the 60s and 70s, and they're really neat if you want to go back and see what happened during your time and era. That's my time and era. But he made a quote that said this. It says, as the editor of the Syracuse papers, this society in the 70s, which we're all from, saw the rise of the drug culture and the fall of the president.